Every day we encounter situations that can disturb us. On the path to openness and emotional honesty, we face a deeply human dilemma. Sharing our vulnerabilities exposes us to the risk of encountering those who seek not to understand but to exploit. This act of courage, seeking healing and connection, can paradoxically attract those who revel in the pain of others, a dark but persistent reality in our society. This phenomenon, tinged with envy and malice, subtly infiltrates various aspects of our lives, from professional relationships to personal bonds. In this space of reflection, we will explore the delicate balance between opening our hearts to the world and protecting our essence from those who would do us harm. Join us today on a journey of self-awareness and caution. We'll explore how to be authentic and vulnerable while protecting our emotional integrity. Together, we'll look for strategies to recognize and protect ourselves from behaviors that seek to take advantage of our sincerity. Let's have an intimate conversation about protecting our emotional wounds as we seek connection and understanding in a complex and challenging world. Advice 1: Practice de-identification. Practicing de-identification is a powerful tool for maintaining calm and clarity in a variety of situations, especially when facing criticism, rejection, or any form of negative feedback. This skill involves separating your identity and self-esteem from external circumstances and others' opinions. When practicing de-identification, we learn not to take others' comments or behaviors as a personal reflection. For example, if someone criticizes you at work, instead of internalizing the criticism as a personal failure, you can view it objectively as an opinion or a specific perspective, which does not define your worth as a person or professional. This skill allows you to maintain a healthy emotional distance and not be swayed by every wave of emotion that events or people around you might provoke. It helps you respond rather than react, enabling you to make more calm and considered decisions. To start practicing de-identification, begin by observing your automatic responses to comments or situations. Ask yourself, am I taking this too personally? And, how can I view this situation from a more objective perspective? Over time, this practice will help you develop greater emotional resilience and deeper inner peace. Advice 2: Set clear boundaries. Establishing clear boundaries is essential for maintaining a healthy sense of personal identity and for protecting your emotional and physical well-being. Boundaries are the rules and principles you define to determine what you consider acceptable and what you don't in interactions with others. By setting clear boundaries, you respect yourself and teach others how to treat you. A clear boundary, for example, might be deciding not to respond to work emails or calls outside of your working hours, or expressing that you will not tolerate disrespect or abusive behaviors. Boundaries aren't barriers to keep people out, but rather guidelines that allow you to interact with others in a healthy and respectful way. To set effective boundaries, first be clear about your values, needs, and priorities. Ask yourself, what's important to me? What do I need to feel respected and valued? From these answers, you can begin to communicate your boundaries to others clearly and assertively. Remember, setting boundaries is an act of self-care. You don't need to justify or apologize for your boundaries. In fact, communicating your boundaries directly and respectfully can significantly improve the quality of your relationships. It might feel uncomfortable or difficult at first, especially if you're not used to doing it, but with practice, it becomes a natural and essential part of your interaction with others. Advice 3: Lower your expectations. Lowering your expectations is a key Stoic tip for cultivating greater inner peace and satisfaction in life. This approach isn't about having a pessimistic view or not aspiring to greatness, but rather about adopting a realistic and balanced perspective on what life, situations, and people can offer you. We often feel disappointed or frustrated because our expectations don't align with reality. For instance, if you expect perfection in yourself, others, or situations, you're likely to constantly face disappointment. Instead, by adjusting your expectations, you open yourself to accepting and appreciating what actually happens, rather than lamenting what didn't happen according to your prior wishes. To start lowering your expectations, try to notice when you feel disappointed or frustrated. Ask yourself, were my expectations realistic in this situation? Am I expecting something that's out of my control or beyond another person's capability? Adjusting your expectations doesn't mean you shouldn't have standards or strive for improvement, but that you should recognize and accept life's limitations and variables. By lowering your expectations, you can also find more joy and gratitude in everyday experiences. You'll learn to appreciate small achievements and simple joys, and find satisfaction in the process and progress, rather than just in the final outcome. This approach allows you to live with a greater sense of peace and acceptance, reducing the anxiety and stress that often accompany unrealistic expectations. Advice 4. Strengthen your self-understanding. Strengthening your self-understanding is crucial for managing your emotions and reactions effectively. This advice focuses on deeply knowing your emotional triggers, thought patterns, and habitual responses. By better understanding these aspects of yourself, you can work on them to improve your emotional well-being and interpersonal relationships. For example, if you know that certain comments or situations tend to trigger anger or insecurity in you, you can prepare yourself to deal with them more constructively. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can recognize what's happening and choose a more thoughtful response. To strengthen your self-understanding, start by regularly reflecting on your emotions and reactions. Journaling is a great tool for this. Write about experiences that elicited strong emotions and try to understand why you felt and reacted as you did. Ask yourself questions like, why does this particular thing bother me so much? Or, what am I really afraid of in this situation? Another helpful method is mindfulness meditation. It allows you to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, giving you clearer insight into your internal processes. This practice can help you become more aware of your reactions and the reasons behind them, enabling you to manage them more effectively. As you develop greater self-understanding, you'll become more adept at handling difficult emotions and situations, leading to a more balanced and fulfilling life. Advice 5. Cultivate resilience. Cultivating resilience is about developing the ability to bounce back from adversity, stress, and failure. It involves building a mindset that helps you navigate through challenges and emerge stronger. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulties, but about facing them head-on and learning from them. To cultivate resilience, start by adopting a growth mindset. View challenges as opportunities for learning and personal development. When you face a setback, instead of seeing it as a failure, consider it a stepping stone to better understanding and skill. Practicing gratitude is another powerful way to build resilience. By focusing on what you're thankful for, even in tough times, you shift your perspective from what's going wrong to what's going right. This shift can significantly improve your mental and emotional well-being. Also, build a support system of friends, family, or professionals who can offer you perspective, advice, and encouragement. Knowing you're not alone in your struggles can make a huge difference in how you handle them. Finally, take care of your physical health. Regular exercise, a healthy diet, and adequate sleep are foundational to psychological resilience. When your body feels strong and healthy, your mind is better equipped to handle stress and recover from setbacks. Remember, resilience is not an innate quality but a skill that can be developed. By working on these aspects, you can strengthen your ability to overcome difficulties and thrive in the face of life's challenges. In summary, achieving a balanced state of emotional openness and protection involves practicing de-identification, setting clear boundaries, lowering expectations, strengthening self-understanding, and cultivating resilience. Each of these strategies plays a crucial role in managing your emotions, reactions, and relationships, helping you to navigate life's complexities with grace and strength. Advice 6. Choose your battles wisely. This advice highlights the importance of discerning when and how to engage in challenging or conflictual situations. Not every situation requires your energy or intervention, and learning to identify which ones truly deserve your attention is key to maintaining your inner peace and effectively focusing your efforts. In practice, choosing your battles wisely means taking a moment to reflect before reacting to a challenge or provocation. Ask yourself, is it worth getting involved in this situation? Will my participation contribute to a positive solution, or will it only add more conflict? Sometimes, the best action is inaction, especially if the conflict has no significant impact on your life or values. This approach also helps you conserve your energy for matters that really matter. Instead of dispersing your resources on multiple fronts, you can focus on areas where you can make a significant difference and where your actions are aligned with your values and goals. Additionally, by choosing your battles wisely, you develop greater serenity and control over your emotions. You learn not to get carried away by every provocation or challenge that comes your way, allowing you to respond in a more calm and centered manner when it is truly necessary to act. Advice 7. Practice active tolerance. This advice focuses on developing the ability to accept and coexist with imperfections, both in the world and in the people around us. Active tolerance does not mean simply enduring unpleasant situations or behaviors passively, but understanding and accepting that perfection is an unattainable ideal and that everyone, including ourselves, has flaws and limitations. Implementing active tolerance involves a conscious exercise of empathy and understanding. When faced with actions or attitudes of others that you find annoying or hard to accept, try to see the situation from their perspective. Ask yourself, what might be influencing their behavior? Are there aspects of their story or circumstances that I am unaware of? This type of reflection can help you develop greater understanding and lessen frustration or automatic judgment. Moreover, practicing active tolerance leads you to recognize and accept your own imperfections. This not only makes you more understanding towards others but also fosters a sense of humility and self-compassion. By accepting that we are all in a process of growth and learning, you can be more forgiving with others and yourself. Ultimately, active tolerance contributes to more harmonious coexistence and healthier interpersonal relationships. It allows you to approach conflicts and differences from a place of understanding and mutual respect, rather than antagonism or resentment. Advice 8. Cultivate humility. This advice is based on the idea of recognizing and accepting our own limitations and the possibility that we do not always have all the answers. Humility is not synonymous with weakness or lack of confidence, but a realistic understanding of our abilities and an openness to learn from others. Cultivating humility begins with self-awareness. Recognize your strengths, but also be aware of your areas for improvement. Admit your mistakes and learn from them, rather than hiding or ignoring them. This demonstrates character strength and a commitment to personal growth. Humility also involves valuing the opinions and experiences of others. Understand that different perspectives can enrich your understanding of a situation. Listen actively when others speak, not with the aim to respond or impose your viewpoint, but to learn and understand. Furthermore, exercising humility in your daily interactions fosters respect and collaboration. When you approach situations and people with a humble attitude, you create an environment of mutual trust and openness to dialogue and collective learning. Remember, humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. By cultivating humility, you not only become more receptive and adaptable, but you also contribute to building more authentic and meaningful relationships. Advice 9: keep your emotions in perspective. This important advice involves recognizing that our emotions, while natural and valid responses to the situations we face, are temporary reactions and do not define the entirety of our existence or reality. By keeping your emotions in perspective, you can manage them more effectively and prevent them from dictating your actions and decisions. To practice this advice, start by observing your emotions without judgment. When you experience a strong emotion, whether it's anger, sadness, or joy, take a moment to acknowledge and accept it. Identify what is causing it, but remember that it is just one aspect of your current experience, not a permanent reflection of who you are. Once you have recognized and accepted your emotions, try to analyze them with some distance. For example, if you feel angry about a colleague's comment, ask yourself, is this emotion proportional to the situation? Is there another way to interpret what happened? This type of questioning helps you see emotions as transient and prevents them from disproportionately influencing your behavior. Additionally, practicing mindfulness can be a useful tool in keeping emotions in perspective. Through meditation and mindful awareness, you can learn to observe your emotions from a safe distance, without getting caught up in them. Remember, the goal is not to suppress or ignore your emotions, but to learn to live with them in a way that is healthy and constructive. By keeping your emotions in perspective, you can respond to life's events with greater clarity, calmness, and wisdom. Advice 10: practice healthy detachment. This advice focuses on the importance of not becoming overly attached to opinions, outcomes, people, or situations. Healthy detachment does not mean indifference or lack of interest, but rather an understanding that clinging too tightly to external factors can lead to unnecessary stress and disappointment. To practice healthy detachment, start by identifying areas in your life where you might be excessively attached or dependent. This could be in your personal relationships, career, or even your self-image. Ask yourself, why am I so attached to this? What fear or insecurity is driving this attachment? Once you've identified areas of attachment, work on gradually letting go of the need for control or certain outcomes. Accept that some things are beyond your control and that not everything will always go as planned. Embrace uncertainty and be open to various possibilities and outcomes. Additionally, focus on your internal state rather than external circumstances. Cultivate inner peace and resilience so that your happiness and sense of self are not completely dependent on external factors. By strengthening your inner world, you become less reactive to the fluctuations of the external world. Healthy detachment also means practicing gratitude for what you have, while also accepting that change is a natural part of life. By appreciating the present moment and being open to change, you can live more fully and with less fear or anxiety about the future. In summary, practicing healthy detachment allows you to engage with the world and pursue your goals with passion, while also maintaining a sense of inner peace and balance, regardless of the outcomes or circumstances you encounter. Advice 11: foster compassion. This advice underscores the importance of developing an attitude of empathy and understanding towards others. Fostering compassion means recognizing and being sensitive to the struggles and suffering of other people, as well as acting with kindness and consideration towards them. Compassion begins with the realization that everyone, regardless of our differences, faces challenges and has their own internal battles. By adopting a compassionate attitude, you approach others with an open mind and a heart willing to understand their experiences and perspectives. To practice compassion in daily life, try to put yourself in others' shoes before judging or reacting. When someone acts in a way you don't understand or that frustrates you, ask yourself, what might be going on in their life to make them act this way? This simple question can open a space for empathy and reduce the tendency to react with anger or judgment. Furthermore, compassion also involves action. This can mean offering kind words, providing emotional support, or simply listening to someone who needs to be heard. Small acts of kindness can have a significant impact on the lives of others and also on your own. Fostering compassion not only improves your relationships and enriches your social life, but it also cultivates a sense of shared humanity and connection. By being compassionate, you not only help others, but you also nurture your own emotional well-being. Advice 12: Avoid unnecessary negativity. This advice focuses on the importance of being aware of your surroundings and how they influence your mood and outlook on life. Surrounding yourself with negativity, whether through people, media, or even certain environments, can have a profound impact on your emotional well-being. To practice this advice, first identify the sources of negativity in your life. They could be toxic relationships, certain TV shows or social networks, or even certain work or social environments. Once you have identified them, work on limiting your exposure to them. This doesn't always mean eliminating them completely, but managing the amount of time and energy you dedicate to them. In addition, try to surround yourself with positivity. Seek out people who inspire and support you, activities that enrich you and make you feel good, and environments that promote tranquility and well-being. Even in situations you cannot change, try to find something positive or a lesson to learn. Remember, it's not about ignoring problems or the difficult realities of life, but choosing not to immerse yourself in negativity that adds nothing valuable to your life. By avoiding unnecessary negativity, you not only protect your mood and mental health, but you also foster a more positive and hopeful attitude towards life. Advice 13: Find lessons in setbacks. This advice is based on the idea that every challenge or adverse situation we face in life is an opportunity to learn and grow. Instead of seeing setbacks as purely negative or as failures, try to identify what you can learn from them and how they can help you develop as a person. Adopting this mindset requires a shift in perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this situation?" This question helps you focus on the potential for growth rather than on disappointment or frustration. For example, if you face a rejection in your professional life, instead of getting stuck in the feeling of failure, analyze the experience to understand what skills you could improve or what approaches you might change in the future. Similarly, in personal relationships, misunderstandings or conflicts can offer insights into effective communication and understanding different points of view. Moreover, learning from setbacks helps you develop resilience. By facing challenges and overcoming them, you build confidence in your ability to handle difficult situations in the future. This not only makes you stronger, but also better prepared for future challenges. Remember, every setback carries with it the seed of a valuable lesson. By finding and absorbing these lessons, you not only overcome challenges, but also enrich yourself in the process. Advice 14: Don't compare yourself to others. This Stoic advice focuses on the importance of concentrating on your own path and progress, rather than constantly measuring yourself against others. Comparisons can lead to envy, resentment, and diminished self-esteem, as there will always be someone who seems to be in a better situation. The key to applying this advice is to recognize and celebrate your uniqueness. Each person has their own set of skills, experiences, and circumstances. By comparing yourself to others, you are ignoring your own context and journey, which is unfair and unproductive. To start moving away from comparisons, focus on your own goals and aspirations. Set personal goals that are meaningful to you and work towards them at your own pace. Celebrate your achievements, no matter how small, and remember that progress is more important than perfection. Additionally, practice gratitude for what you have and what you have achieved. This can help you maintain a positive perspective and appreciate your own journey. If you find it difficult to stop comparing yourself to others, try to limit your exposure to social media and other sources of comparison. Remember that life is not a competition. By focusing on your own growth and well-being, rather than on how you compare to others, you can live a fuller, more authentic, and happier life. Advice 15: Celebrate your small victories. This tip highlights the importance of recognizing and valuing your personal achievements, no matter how small they may seem. In our pursuit of great successes, we often overlook the small steps and progress we make every day. However, these small victories are what pave the way towards more significant achievements and strengthen our confidence and motivation. To apply this tip in your life, start by paying attention to your daily achievements. This could be something as simple as completing a task you have been postponing, exercising, or having a difficult conversation. Recognize and congratulate yourself for these moments. Creating a daily or weekly ritual to reflect on your achievements can be very beneficial. At the end of the day or week, take a moment to think about what you have accomplished and how you have moved closer to your goals. This not only helps you see your progress but also increases your gratitude and personal satisfaction. Additionally, share your victories with friends or family. Sharing your successes not only allows you to celebrate them more fully but can also inspire and motivate others. Remember, every step forward, no matter how small, is a reason for celebration. By recognizing and valuing your small victories, you maintain positive momentum on your journey of personal and professional growth. Advice 16: Recognize what is under your control. The Stoics believe that there are two types of things in the world, those that are under our control and those that are not. The things under our control are our thoughts, our actions, and our emotions. The things that are not under our control are everything else, like the weather, the actions of others, and events in the world in general. When we understand this distinction, we can start to focus on the things we can control. This frees us from the anxiety and stress caused by things we cannot control. There are many ways to apply this advice in our daily lives. Here are some examples. When faced with a difficult situation, we can ask ourselves, what is under my control in this situation? If the answer is that there is little or nothing we can do to change the situation, then we should focus on what we can control, such as our attitude and our actions. We can set goals that are under our control. For example, instead of saying, "I want to be rich," we can say, "I want to work hard and save money." This is a goal that is under our control because it depends on us to work hard and save money. We can avoid negative emotions that are not under our control. For example, if we feel angry with someone, we can take time to calm down before acting. We can also remember that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control our own actions. Recognizing what is under our control is a skill that requires practice. But, over time, we can learn to live a happier and fuller life, focusing on the things we can control. Here are some additional tips for applying this advice in your life. Make a list of things that are under your control and those that are not. This will help you have a clear vision of what you can and cannot change. Ask yourself, what can I do about it, every time you face a difficult situation. This will help you focus on the actions you can take to improve the situation. Practice acceptance. Remember that you cannot control everything that happens in the world. Learn to accept the things you cannot change. Recognizing what is under your control is a powerful principle that can help you live a happier and more fulfilling life. Advice 17. Use reason over emotion. Emotions are an important part of human life. They help us connect with others, motivate us, and make decisions. However, emotions can also be powerful and sometimes can lead us to make decisions we later regret. Therefore, it is important to learn to use reason over emotion. This means being able to objectively evaluate our emotions and make decisions based on logic, rather than the feelings of the moment. The Stoics believe that reason is the most important force we have. It allows us to think clearly, make wise decisions, and act morally. To use reason over emotion, we can follow these tips. Be aware of your emotions. When you feel overwhelmed by emotions, take a moment to identify them. What are you feeling? Why do you feel that way? Reflect on the causes of your emotions. Are your emotions realistic? Are they justified? Consider the consequences of your actions. What would happen if you acted according to your emotions? Make a decision based on logic. What is the best way to act in this situation? Learning to use reason over emotion is a skill that requires practice. But, over time, we can learn to control our emotions and make wiser decisions. Here are some examples of how we can apply this advice in our daily lives. If you feel angry, before saying or doing anything, take some time to calm down. Reflect on the causes of your anger and consider the consequences of your actions. Then, make a decision based on logic. If you feel sad, do not let your emotions overwhelm you. Think about the things you are grateful for and the things you can do to improve your situation. If you feel anxious, do not let your emotions paralyze you. Make a list of the things you can control and the things you cannot control. Then, focus on the things you can control. Using reason over emotion is a skill that can help you live a happier and fuller life. Advice 18. Cultivate equanimity. Equanimity is the ability to maintain calm and composure, even in difficult situations. It is a virtue that helps us live a fuller and more satisfying life. The Stoics believed that equanimity was one of the most important virtues. They said that equanimity allows us to see the world clearly and objectively, without being carried away by emotions. To cultivate equanimity, we can follow these tips. Practice acceptance. Remember that you cannot control everything that happens in the world. Learn to accept the things you cannot change. Focus on what you can control. Instead of worrying about things you cannot control, focus on the things you can control, such as your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions. Develop a positive attitude. Focus on the good things in life and the things you can be grateful for. Learning to cultivate equanimity is a skill that requires practice. But, over time, we can learn to maintain calm and composure, even in difficult situations. Here are some examples of how we can apply this advice in our daily lives. If you face a difficult situation, take a moment to breathe deeply and relax. Remember that you cannot control everything that happens in the world. Focus on what you can control. If you feel overwhelmed by emotions, do not resist them. Allow the emotions to flow through you. Then, focus on your thoughts and actions. Practice gratitude. Take time each day to reflect on the things you are grateful for. This will help you develop a positive attitude. Cultivating equanimity is a skill that can help you live a happier and fuller life. Advice 19: accept that change is constant. Change is an inevitable part of life. Things are constantly changing, both within us and in the world around us. The Stoics believed that accepting change was one of the most important virtues. They said that acceptance helps us live a fuller and more satisfying life. To accept change, we can follow these tips. Practice acceptance. Remember that change is a natural part of life. Learn to accept the changes that happen around you. Focus on what you can control. Instead of worrying about things you cannot control, focus on the things you can control, such as your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions. Develop a positive attitude. Focus on the good things in life and the things you can be grateful for. Learning to accept change is a skill that requires practice. But, over time, we can learn to live a fuller and more satisfying life, accepting the changes that happen around us. Here are some examples of how we can apply this advice in our daily lives. If you face a difficult situation, take a moment to breathe deeply and relax. Remember that change is a natural part of life. Focus on what you can control. If you feel overwhelmed by emotions, do not resist them. Allow the emotions to flow through you. Then, focus on your thoughts and actions. Practice gratitude. Take time each day to reflect on the things you are grateful for. This will help you develop a positive attitude. Accepting change is a skill that can help you live a happier and fuller life. Advice 20: recognize the impermanence of emotions. Emotions are fleeting. They come and go like waves in the ocean. The Stoics believed that the impermanence of emotions was one of the most important truths we must understand. They said that if we can remember that emotions are transient, we will not be carried away by them. To recognize the impermanence of emotions, we can follow these tips. Observe your emotions attentively. When you feel overwhelmed by emotions, take a moment to observe them. What type of emotion is it? What caused it? Remember that all emotions are transient. No emotion lasts forever. Even the most intense emotions, such as anger or sadness, will eventually fade. Develop an attitude of acceptance. Instead of resisting your emotions, accept them as a normal part of life. Learning to recognize the impermanence of emotions is a skill that requires practice. But, over time, we can learn not to be carried away by our emotions and to live a fuller and more satisfying life. Here are some examples of how we can apply this advice in our daily lives. If you feel angry, take a moment to breathe deeply and observe your anger. Remember that anger is a passing emotion. If you feel sad, take time to cry. Allow the sadness to flow through you. If you feel anxious, take time to relax. Practice relaxation techniques, such as deep breathing or meditation. Recognizing the impermanence of emotions is a skill that can help you live a more fulfilling and satisfying life. Advice 21: maintain your principles firmly. Principles are the fundamental beliefs that guide our lives. They help us make decisions, act morally, and live a life with purpose. The Stoics believed that principles were essential for a happy and fulfilling life. They said that if we can maintain our principles firmly, even in difficult times, we will be more resilient and strong. To maintain our principles firmly, we can follow these tips. Know your principles. Take time to reflect on your fundamental beliefs. What is important to you? What values guide you? Live according to your principles. When your actions align with your principles, you will feel more confident and satisfied. Be consistent. Stay true to your principles, even when it is difficult. Learning to maintain our principles firmly is a skill that requires practice. But, over time, we can learn to live a fuller and more satisfying life, based on our values. Here are some examples of how we can apply this advice in our daily lives. If you face a difficult decision, remember your principles. What does your heart tell you? If someone asks you to do something against your principles, be firm. Explain your position respectfully. If you feel overwhelmed by circumstances, remember why you believe in what you believe. Your principles will give you strength to keep going. Maintaining your principles firmly is a skill that can help you live a more fulfilling and satisfying life. You have reached the end of this review of the 21 Stoic tips for acting as if nothing bothers you. I hope these tips have been helpful and that they help you live a fuller and more satisfying life. Remember, Stoicism is a practical philosophy that can be applied to everyday life. You don't have to be an expert in philosophy to benefit from Stoic principles. Stoicism is a philosophy that can help you live a fuller and more satisfying life. If you are willing to practice its principles, you will find yourself on the path to a happier and more peaceful life. Thank you for joining me on this journey through these tips to act as if nothing bothers you. I sincerely hope this video has provided value to you and encourages you to take steps towards positive change in your life. Remember, every little effort counts on your path to personal growth. Don't forget to subscribe, leave your like, and share your reflections in the comments. See you in the next video.